Have you ever loved the players so much just to see them wearing another team's jersey the next season? Like, wait, what just happened? Today we're talking about something that every football fan has experienced at least once. Loyalty versus business. Because it's business over brotherhood in the NFL. And your favorite player isn't always your team's priority.
Football is more than just a game. It's a year-round party, and not everyone speaks the language. Here we break it down in real time, fun, simple, and judgment-free. Welcome to Football for Her, where anyone can learn the NFL from a woman's perspective. I'm Dee Dee, raised in a football family. Stick with me, and you'll speak football for her as well. Let's talk football. It's time for the word of the week.
Now we're going to talk about the Football for Her word of the week. And it's 2 words, just like it was last week, but it's dead money, right? So imagine paying the rent for an apartment you don't live in anymore. That is dead money. In the NFL, when a team cuts a player they signed to a massive contract, they still have to pay a portion of it. GMs are terrified of dead money, which is why they sometimes refuse to give aging legends those big, loyal contracts that fans want to give them. Okay? So, that's something new that we've learned. Dead money. Now we're going to get to the meat of the story today. As fans, we think if he's loyal, the team should be loyal back. The truth is, the teams are thinking what's best for their future. Fan loyalty versus team reality. The fans' mindset is, we stood by you when you were a rookie. We cheered you through the injuries. You owe us. Fans view a franchise player like a marriage. We stick together through sickness and in health. And if a player takes a discount to stay, they're the hero. But if they leave for money, they're a traitor. The team's mindset, though, is we love you for what you did, but we have to pay you for what you will do. Front offices don't operate on nostalgia. They operate on ruthless spreadsheets. To a general manager, loyalty is a luxury that can get you fired. Their job isn't to honor the past, it's to win next Sunday. So, have you ever seen your favorite player in another team's jersey and just felt that it was physically wrong? It's like seeing an ex with somebody new. Okay, we're going to talk about some real life examples. So, first one, $1.99. We're going to talk about Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. So, the context. He was there 20 years. He had 6 Super Bowl rings. He was New England. He took a pay cut for years to help the team build a winning roster, okay? The breakup. Bill Belichick notoriously operates on the philosophy of moving on from a player a year early rather than a year late. Belichick only wanted to offer Brady a year-to-year contract because he was in his early 40s. Brady wanted a multi-year commitment and better offensive weapons. All right? So the mic drop moment. Brady left.
Brady will no longer be their quarterback. Paul Burton spoke with some of them outside Gillette Stadium.
What a sad day.
Of course I'm sad and everything. It's devastating.
After 20 unimaginable seasons with the Patriots, Tom Brady is saying goodbye for now and moving on.
I'm just glad that we had him for 20 years and we got 6 Super Bowls. What can you complain?
The time was coming at some point anyways, so it was inevitable. All good things must come to an end, right?
At the Pro Shop Tuesday morning, Patriot fans arrived as soon as the doors opened to purchase what could be their last Brady jersey.
Well, I'm going to keep it. Number one is memorabilia. And number two, the guy gave us 20 years. 6 championships.
The reason why I bought it in the first place is because usually once a player leaves a certain location, they're not going to be selling this jersey anymore, and then it's going to be considered like one of the vintage edition jerseys, and then the price will go up by like $50, and I just wanted one.
Fans are devastated, but also grateful for the legacy Tom Brady leaves behind. 6 rings, amazing Super Bowl victories, and of course that famous Brady smile.
I don't think nobody's gonna step in Tom Brady's shoes. How you gonna do that?
It's an amazing legacy, and it is definitely going to be hard for someone else to top.
My whole life he's been here. Like, I'm 17, so I've only known Tom Brady as a Patriot. So it's just like he's the greatest of all time in our eyes and everything.
One of the many questions fans have right now is, where will Tom Brady go next, and what would the Patriots team look like without him? In Foxborough, I'm Paul Burton, CBS in Boston.
He went to Tampa Bay and immediately won a Super Bowl in his first year, proving it wasn't just the Patriot way that made him great. It was the ultimate I'll show you moment in sports history. All right? So the next person we have, Emmitt Smith and the Dallas Cowboys. The context. The NFL's all-time leading rusher, the heart and soul of the 90s Cowboy dynasty, 3 Super Bowl rings, all right? So the breakup. By 2003, the Cowboys were rebuilding. Bill Parcells came in as head coach and wanted to get younger. Emmitt was 33, ancient for a running back, and making a lot of money. They cut him. All right, so there is no video for Emmitt Smith, not because he's a Cowboy and I'm a hater, but
looking for a raw reaction video is a brilliant way to capture that exact fan heartbreak for your listeners. However, because Emmitt was released in February 2003, 2 full years before YouTube even existed and long before smartphones, the living room reaction videos we are used to seeing today don't really exist for that specific moment.
okay, so now back to Emmitt's story, because it is a good one. Okay, so it was incredibly weird to see Emmitt Smith, the ultimate Dallas Cowboy, wearing an Arizona Cardinals uniform for 2 years. It looked like a glitch in the Matrix. Even Smith later admitted that his time with Arizona just felt like a dream I wanted to wake up from. Peyton Manning leaving the Indianapolis Colts. All right, so the context. Peyton Manning literally built Lucas Oil Stadium, often called the house that Peyton built. He saved football for Indianapolis in the breakup. This was a perfect storm of injury and business. Peyton missed the entire 2011 season with severe neck surgeries. The Colts collapsed without him and ended up with the #1 overall draft pick. The business decision. The Colts were facing a massive $28 million roster bonus for Peyton. They had a generational talent sitting right there in the draft in Andrew Luck, who would be drastically cheaper, right? So the owner had to make the most brutal decision in NFL history. Cut the greatest player in franchise history in a tearful press conference to draft a 22-year-old kid.
Colts fans knew the decision was coming. Can they really picture Peyton Manning in a Denver Broncos jersey?
No, I can't. I don't think anybody else can either. It's going to be a little surreal, I would say.
Jim and I have spoken extensively.
Surreal and frankly just weird for Indianapolis fans who not long ago fully expected their favorite player to finish his career with the Colts. Still, given the situation, most fans we talk to say the Denver decision makes sense.
Given their run last year, I think it'll be a good fit for him, and I mean, I'd like to see him go to another Super Bowl.
They have a good football team, right? Good reputation. I'd rather have him stay here, but if he's going to go someplace, nice people.
It seems like he's ready to play, and I wish he could still be in Indianapolis. I'm going to be a Broncos fan or whoever he's playing with, so yeah, I wish he was still here.
Hey, if you haven't heard Peyton Manning...
It didn't take long for the conversation to hit the airwaves on 1070 The Fan.
Look, John Elway saw the man work out. He's watched his work.
He knows what he's getting for the most part.
If John Elway is so quick to get rid of Tim Tebow, you think Payton's got a short leash in Denver?
No, come on. No. John Elway has never bought into what Tim Tebow has been. Even when they were winning, he's been very, very non-committal.
And fellow 1070 host JMV believes the decision makes sense both for Manning, who is focused on winning right now, and for Denver, who will have a 4-time MVP to replace Tim Tebow.
They kind of fashioned the offense around him. Now they're going to be able to say, okay, Manning, here's your offense. And who knows, Jeff Saturday may end up there. Brandon Stokely may come out of retirement. We'll see.
Now, my personal heartbreak. Saquon Barkley leaving the New York Giants just to end up with the Eagles, our rivalry. And when the business decision takes you to the enemy. All right, so the context. Saquon was the face of the New York franchise. He was the offensive leader and a fan favorite who always said he wanted to be a Giant for life. The breakup. The Giants front office looked at the modern NFL analytics, which say do not pay running backs big money. They refused to give him the long-term, high-guaranteed contract he wanted to stay in New York. They even played in my boy's face for a year with the franchise tag. So in 2014, in the offseason, Saquon did the unthinkable. He signed with the Giants' most hated division rivalry, the Philadelphia Eagles.
Following breaking news here on CBS Sports HQ, Saquon Barkley is reportedly going to the Philadelphia Eagles on a 3-year deal, $37.75 million, 26 of that guaranteed. Saquon rushed for 62 yards, with the Giants last year, scoring 6 touchdowns. All right, Jeremy St. Louis alongside Danny Cannell, Brady Quinn, and Pete Prisco to talk about this move and some others that we've seen. So Saquon Barkley gets his deal going to the Eagles, who, of course, earlier in the day had lost DeAndre Swift. What do you make of this and the money?
I'll let Pete handle the kind of weirdness of it that he was talking about. But I do, like, for the Eagles, I think it's a solid move. I think Jalen Hurts needs a running back like this in the backfield. And I was worried about the Eagles. This offseason has been pretty rough. The collapse on the back end of the season. You got Kelsey retiring. You got Fletcher Cox retiring. You got question marks along the offensive line. Lane Johnson's another year older. And Jalen Hurts didn't play great last year. But all of a sudden, I think this does infuse some life into that team and into that offense specifically, because I do think Saquon is going to see better numbers counts than he did with the Giants. And from that perspective, I think it's really intriguing that he stays in the division against a longtime division rival in the Eagles, who could use an infusion of life into this offense. So from the Eagles' perspective, without the contract even being talked about, I think it makes a ton of sense to help Jalen Hurts.
It's the best offensive line that's played behind in his career.
Yeah.
He will walk, and it's saying something too, considering you have a first ballot Hall of Famer in Jason Kelsey, who is retiring, and I think you can still safely make that point. To your point about Jalen Hurts also being a part of the running attack, he's gonna see bigger holes, much fewer in the box count, and also because of the wide receivers they got on the outside to help protect that. So it's a great situation for Saquon Barkley. He's cashing in on a deal that gets him $26 million guaranteed, really over the first 2 years of this deal, which is big for him. I mean, arguably that was probably what he turned down about a year ago, but he still played under the 1-year guaranteed deal, so he got that, and now this. Now it gives him an opportunity, too, to go up against his former team a couple times a year and really take it to him for not giving him the long-term deal that he probably felt like he deserved.
You don't ever want to see production go down for a running back, though. That's never a good look when you see that happen. It could be a signal.
It's tough when you're starting your third, fourth string quarterback,
too. Yeah, well, but still his production's going down. But the other thing, how dare you slander Tommy DeVito? How dare you slander Tommy DeVito?
So let's just do the math on this, too. I mean, he did play a couple less games. So what's the average compared to 2022 and 2023?
It's down. And backs get older, and they have more carries on their body. That's never a good thing. But look, I see it from the Eagles standpoint. You need to get a back. This isn't their MO usually. It hasn't been. You go out and pay a running back. They traded for Swift. He went in there, did some good things. He left. They let Sanders leave the year before. and now you're paying a running back to come in there and as a free agent. It's different for them. I understand it. You make a good point. The box will be lighter. It'll help Hurts. He has receivers on the outside who can stretch the defense, which will help back teams off.
Now, this is raw emotion for fans. Giants fans even burn their jerseys and call him a traitor. Not me, though. I still have my Saquon Barkley jersey because you have to look at it from Saquon's perspective. The Giants weren't loyal to him, not with their wallets anyway, so why would he be loyal to the Giants by turning down life-changing guaranteed money from Philly? Look, I wore my jersey every Sunday in the playoffs. New York wasn't in the playoffs. Saquon Barkley was. I even had a man joke me one time and saw me come into a sports bar with my New York Giants Saquon Barkley jersey on. And he said to me, "So what time y'all play today?" And I said, "What do you mean?" And he was like, "You got on that Giants jersey. What time the Giants play today?" I said, "I have on a Saquon Barkley's jersey, and he plays at 4:30. So you may ask yourself, why do teams have to be so cold? The hard salary cap. Unlike baseball, the NFL has a hard salary cap. A team only has a strictly limited pie of money to slice among the 53 guys. If you pay an aging legend $30 million because you love him, you literally cannot afford to pay 3 young, fast, 24-year-olds on defense. Overpaying for nostalgia ruins the rest of the roster. All right? And so also, another reason why teams have to be so cold is dead money, which we've talked about already, so I won't make you hear about that again. And also, the draft cycles, they're ruthless. Every single April, 250 plus hungry 20-year-old kids enter the league, and they are faster, their knees are fresh, and most importantly, they're cheap. And a little rookie contract is the most valuable asset in the NFL. So, the best ability is availability. Once a player starts accumulating injuries, front offices get spooked. They won't pay premium money for a player who spent half the season on the trainer's table. Okay? So, girlies, this is the part nobody tells you. A player can love a team and still get released. Why? Because players don't control contracts. Teams do. So when you see a player leave, girlies, don't always blame him. Sometimes they just don't have a choice. General managers are playing chess, not checkers. Teams are thinking 3 to 5 years ahead, not just to next Sunday. They're willing to endure painful breakups today if it means building a Super Bowl contender 3 years from now. Let's be honest. The NFL stands for not for long. We love the romance of a player starting and finishing with one team. But the truth is, the NFL is a multi-billion-dollar machine. And machines just don't have feelings. Alright, girlies, let's bring this into real life. Let's say it's a job, right? NFL is a job. You can be loyal. You can work hard, but still get laid off if the company is restructuring. Football is the same thing, just with millions of dollars involved. All right? It's trivia time. Okay, besties, here's your trivia question of the week. Which legendary quarterback left the New England Patriots and went on to win a Super Bowl with another team the very next year. Now, I talked about him earlier in this episode, and I'll give you time to think about it. Ding! Okay. Do you know the answer? Do you know? Number 199, Tom Brady. Okay. So Tom Brady left the New England Patriots and went on to win a Super Bowl with another team. Okay. Okay, so now you know. It's not always about loyalty. Sometimes it's just business. But that's what makes football so unpredictable. And honestly, that's why we love it. So you make sure you follow Football for Her on all platforms. So now you know. It's not always about loyalty. Sometimes it's just business. But that's what makes football so unpredictable. And honestly, that's why we love it. All right, ladies. So that is a wrap on today's episode of Football for Her. We covered a lot of heavy ground today by looking at the brutal business behind the game we love. The next time you see a team refuse to sign a franchise legend to a final contract, I want you to remember our word of the week: dead money. Front offices are terrified of paying millions of dollars to a player who isn't even on the field anymore. And remember, it's like paying rent for an apartment you've already moved out of. In the NFL, that is a mistake that gets GMs fired. But even though we understand the business now, the heartbreak is still real. So, before we sign off, I want to hear from you. We all have that one player, that one trade, or that one release that absolutely crushed us. Who broke your heart as a fan? Head over to our Facebook page, drop a line or a comment on our latest TikTok or Instagram, or even sound off on YouTube and let me know that one player you are still not over losing. Also, make sure you subscribe so that you never miss an episode, and so we can activate that $500 draft contest. We need 10,000 subscribers between Facebook and YouTube. Make sure you share this with your girlies so they can talk football like a pro every Sunday as well. The NFL might be a ruthless business, but our love for the game is real. I'll see you next week on Football for Her, where football finally makes sense. All right, everyone. It's time for the Football for Her $500 NFL Draft Challenge. Let's get into it. One winner will receive $500 if they correctly predict all 32 players selected in the first round of the NFL Draft. But here's the catch. This contest will only activate if the Football for Her community reaches 10,000 combined followers on Facebook and YouTube. Once we hit that goal, you'll be able to submit your full first round predictions. From everyone who correctly predicts all 32 players drafted in the first round, one winner will be randomly selected to receive $500. If no one correctly predicts all 32 picks, there will not be a winner. So make sure you follow the page on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, and start studying that draft board. And remember, this is Football for Her, where football finally makes sense.